All right, test review for geometry. So a few reminders here. AB, the symbol means line segment. The second one means line when both arrows. One arrow is a ray. And remember, when you're naming a plane, unless there's a capital letter without a dot, a point, then you must use 3 points, and you must say the word plane, plane MRT. And remember, they cannot be collinear. Okay? So the only restriction here is these cannot be collinear. Very important. All right? Now, it says name a line segment on the plane. All right? So there is a line going through the plane you see from the dotted line. So remember, IGJ, this one right here, that is a line segment. Or sorry, it's a line, but it's going through the plane. We don't want that. We want a line segment on the plane. Now, we can pick any 2 letters here. We can pick DG. We can pick GF. We could even pick DF. Any one of those works as a line segment. The important part is, if you say DG, you must put the segment symbol over it. All right? But you cannot use GI or GJ. Okay? So DG is one example. Or you could have GF. I know it's a line because it goes on forever, but we're basically just taking scissors and snipping out a piece of it. So as long as we put the proper symbol, we can cut a segment out of the line. Name a line intersecting the plane. We kind of hinted at that before. This one right here is intersecting, going through, like a pencil poking through a paper. So I just need to use any 2 letters to make the line. So let's say IJ. And we have to put this symbol with 2 arrows over it. I could also use GI or GJ as long as I put 2 arrows over it like that. Okay, there's more than one answer. Those are just a couple samples. Name a point coplanar. Remember, this means on the same plane with H. So H is on this kind of piece of paper here. So what are my choices? Well, D is on there, G is on there, and F is on there. Okay? We can use any of those points. Right? But remember, not Q, because Q is not a point. Okay? Also, we can't use I, J, or K because although those are points, they are not on the plane. All right, number 4. Name a line segment that's not on the plane. So therefore, we need to use this and pick any 2 letters, like G, JG. Kind of like number 2. Okay, but instead of the arrows, we just put that. Okay? Name array. Again, at this point, you can pretty much pick any 2 letters from either one of these lines as long as you just use the proper symbol. So I could say GI as long as I put 1 arrow over it. Okay, I could use FG. Doesn't matter as long as I use 1 arrow. I could have even done GF. Doesn't matter as long as I do 1 arrow. There are plenty of rays in this drawing. Name 3 collinear points. Well, you have 2 choices there. You have these 3 and you have those 3. Doesn't matter. So point D, point G, and point F. I could have also listed I, G, and J. Makes no difference. Just choices. Name a non-coplanar point to plane Q. So something that's not on plane Q. Well, that means we're looking at these two or this one. So any of those work. J, K, or I. Any one of those. You only need to name one, but just telling you there's choices. Name a point collinear with J. Okay, so you find J right here, and you go, what's with it? Oh, G or I. Either one of those works. And those are your only two choices there. Give another name for plane Q. Well, remember, let's look at our choices for letters. We have H, D, G, and F. Those are our choices. Not Q. We cannot use Q. All right, because it's not a point. It's the name of the plane, as you can clearly see right here. And remember, we cannot use D, G, and F together. So any three of those, and remember, we must write the word plane. As long as we don't use these three, we're fine. So HDG, HDF, HGF, whatever. All right? Makes no difference. We just can't use D, G, and F together. Now, why can H not be the name for a plane? Well, it is a point. All right? So, unlike Q, which is not a point, we can't just say plane H. So, we need three non-collinear points. Okay? If it was not a point, it was just a capital letter, we could call it plane H. But once we see that it is a point, we need three of them together to make the name of a plane. All right, given the endpoints, this is the easy one, okay? Remember, the simple formula, x plus x divided by 2, and y plus y divided by 2. So, if it helps, label these x and y, and we write 3 plus negative 5 divided by 2, and negative 2 plus 10 divided by 2. So 3 minus 5, or 3 plus negative 5, is negative 2 over 2. And 10 minus 2 is 8 over 2. And that simplifies finally to negative 1, comma 4. And there is my answer. That's the midpoint. Now remember, this one is the challenging one. You're given an endpoint and a midpoint. So remember, x plus x divided by 2 equals the midpoint of x. And y plus y divided by 2 equals the midpoint of y. So that means the midpoint numbers go here. So my midpoint is, my midpoint is 2 for x, and my midpoint for y is 1. And now I do the math. My one endpoint is 5. I don't know the other one, but I'm still going to divide by 2. My one endpoint is 7 for y. I don't know the other y, and I divide by 2. And now the algebra kicks in. I multiply by 2 to get rid of that 2. And that gives me 5 plus x equals 4. Over here, multiply by 2. That cancels. I end up with 7 plus y equals 2. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides and subtract 7 from both sides. So that gives me x is negative 1 and y is 2 minus 7, which is negative 5. And here's the beauty of it. Remember, you can really quickly check and do 5 plus negative 1 over 2 and 7 plus negative 5 over 2 and see if we get this midpoint. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. And 7 minus 5 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. That works out. Moving on. Find the measure of CD. Well, for this one, we have the total of AD. We're trying to find this. Now we know AC combined is 35. 20 plus 15. So 35 plus something is 54. The simple way to do this is just 54 minus 35. The algebra would be 35 plus something is 54. Well, what's my first step? Subtract 35. Right there. That gives me 19. So CD is 19. Okay? Moving on. All right. Find the measure of BC and the name of the bisector. Well, these marks mean these two pieces are equal. So AB is congruent to AC. AB is congruent to BC. Therefore, I can say AB, which is 3x plus 4, is equal to BC, which is 5x minus 6. This point right here is the midpoint. Okay? That is the bisector. Okay? It's the midpoint. So, we're going to just solve this now. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So that's going to give me 10 equals 2x. Now when I divide by 2, I'm going to get x equals 5. But remember, it's not asking me for x. It's asking me for BC. So I'm going to plug my 5 in right here. 5 times 5 minus 6. 25 minus 6. So BC is 19. Now remember, if it would have asked me for AB, it still would have been 19. But if it asked me for AC, I would have had to double it and get 38. So please pay attention to the directions and what it's asking you to do. All right, plot these points and plot and label these points. So 2, negative 1. So here, 2 to the right, down 1. All right, now you can't see my points. 2, negative 6. So right 2, down to negative 6. C is 6, negative 6. So right 6, down, negative 6. So here's my A, my B, and my C. And that's going to form a triangle, poorly drawn triangle. Now, my D is negative 3, negative 1. So left 3, down 1. That's my D. My E is negative 3, negative 3, so left 3, down 3. That's my E. F is negative 8, negative 1, so left 8, down 1. And G finally is at 8 to the left and 3 down. There's my G. So I have this poorly drawn rectangle. Now we're finding the area of ABC. Now that's a triangle, so area is 1/2 base times height. DEFG is a rectangle, so the area is length times width. So I'm going to count. I don't need a distance formula. I can simply count. My length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, I'm on the wrong one. Area equals 5. My width is 1, 2. Looks like a 3, but you know what I'm doing. I'm counting this way. 2. So my area is 10 square units. Now my triangle, 1/2 is standard. My base is 1, 2, 3, 4. And my height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Or 5 times 4 is 20. And half of that is 10 units squared also. Which leads to the next question. Do they have the same area? Yes, they do. Hey, we're almost there. Number 16. Find each angle measure and classify acute, which means less than 90, cubical angle, obtuse, bigger than 90, straight, 180, a straight line, or right, which is 90. Okay? So KAB, this is B, it got cut off. So KAB is this one right here, KAB. Now, this number, see it opens this way, is either 70 or 130, looking at the numbers. Now that angle opens past 90. Okay? Actually, my bad, it's 110, I'm sorry. 110. 70 or 110. Either way, it's past 90, so 70 doesn't make sense. It's 110 because it's obtuse. It's a big angle. Right? My next angle, if I can get my eraser to work, is BAN. I erase the B. BAN. So B to the A to the N, poorly drawn. Doesn't matter which one I look at, but they're both 90, which is a right angle. Next one, FAB. F to the A to the B. Well, that's 180 degrees. That is a straight angle. Straight line. And last, but certainly not least, DAB. Got to get that dab in. Now again, this one is either 160 or 20. Okay? Well, look at it. It's a tiny little angle right there. Teeny tiny. So that's going to be 20 degrees, which makes it a cute little angle. All right. Almost there. Last bit here. PQT. PQT right here is 32.3. TQR, which is right here, is 57.6. They're wanting us to find PQR, the entire thing, which means we're going to add these together. Just type in my calculator, and even though we talked about this, even though it looks like a 90-degree angle, it's not. It's 89.9 degrees. Really close, but not 90. All right, the next one. It says PQR, which is the entire thing, is 91.4. Again, that's the entire angle. Again, not 90. Then TQR right here is 28.7. And they're wanting us to find PQT. Right there. Well, if the whole thing is 91.4 and this piece down here is 28.7, we subtract to get the other amount, which is 62.7 degrees. And now we get to the last few. Supplement, right off the bat, I like to write down 180. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't paying attention. I started to do 90, even though I know what it is. So right away, keep yourself on track. And remember the little trick I taught you. C comes before S in the alphabet. 90 comes before 180 in the numbers. So there's a little chart to help you remember. So a supplemental angle adds up to 180. So if I just do 180 minus 45.3, I will get the supplement of 45.3, which is 134.7. And if I want to find the complement of 21.6, I subtract that from 90, and that will give me 68.4 degrees. And then last but not least, why can you not have a complement of a 95-degree angle? Well, complement means it adds up to 90. 95 is too big. It's larger than a 90-degree angle. Therefore, it's a bust. And that's it for your review.